See,
so there's questions and answers. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
see the Dwarka Bhavis, their mood is Sakya Bhava, that Krishna is married, and that's all. And the Vrindavan devotees, they think that Krishna is not married. So, it actually, there's two pramanams I found. One is in that Brahmavarta Purana, that Brahma did the marriage of Radha and Krishna. But I thought, Brahmavarta Purana is not very reliable. It's a last resort of scholars. You quote it if you have to, but you can't prove it because there's no commentary on Brahmavarta Purana. Then in Garud and in Garga Samhita, somebody asked Gargacharya if he would do the marriage of Radha Krishna. He said, no, Brahma will do it in Bandirvan. So then I thought, it might be true. See, Radha Krishna are exalted anyway. They don't need to be married to be exalted anyway. So maybe they're married, maybe they're not married. Big deal, you know. Radha Krishna doesn't have to be married. See, if you found 3 pramanams, then it may be true, you know. And if you have 4 pramanams, stop thinking and start doing. See, I only got 2 pramanams. So 2 pramanams are not bad, but nobody changed their activities. That's the idea. So 2 pramanam, you can throw it over your shoulder, you know. If you have 3, maybe it's true. If you have 4, stop thinking and start doing. So basically I have only 2 pramanams, and one of them is shaky. It's Brahmavarta Purana. I asked Gopi Puranadana, I said, now how should we deal with the Purana that doesn't have any commentary on it? And he goes, treat that opinion with a grain of salt. Maybe yes, maybe no. The British proverb is, when in doubt, do without. So basically, you can leave Vrindavan if you speak the glories of Vrindavan outside of Vrindavan and get people to come to Vrindavan. Then you can leave Vrindavan. That's the idea. And I remember once in 1981, I visited Dwarka to get a Dwarka Shila. And I saw only one Vaishnavi with Gaudiya Vaishnava tilak on her forehead. And I was shocked, you know. The whole place, there was only one Gaudiya Vaishnava. Interesting. That was in 1981. You know, I visited Dwarka between then. There was one fellow, Narmada Goswami, who left his body God. In 2006 in Vrindavan, and whenever he would get angry with somebody, he would go to Dwarka. Why would he go to Dwarka? He went to Dwarka twice from Bombay. It's only 27 hours in Saurashtra Mail, and to go to Dwarka. And once from Delhi, somebody fried him out and he flipped out and went to Dwarka. Where did he go to Dwarka? I can't figure it out, you know. And he told me that when he was staying in Dwarka, he was staying at first in the temple where Arjuna hid before stealing Subhadra Devi. That was an interesting temple. And so he was staying there. And then the next time he was staying, there was an island between where the sea comes in. There's an island, there's a Narayan temple there on an island. Anyway, staying in a hut there. And it's got five wells, 3 wells of water there. And he put a tulsi, he put a sea wall, a wall there, and to stop the sea breeze, and the tulsi survived. So it was interesting stuff. He told me that story himself. He was an interesting guy, you know. He left his body God at the age of 79, and he fasted his way out. I was the last person to wash his body before doing his samadhi ceremony. He fasted his way out. He must have learned that in Dwarka. God knows who told him that. You know, that's interesting stuff. So the mood of Vrindavan is that Radha Krishna is great. And they chant Radharani's name, Jai Radhe, much more than they chant Krishna's name, because Radharani is very compassionate. You know. So Radha Krishna may be married, but they don't have to be exalted to be married anyway. Their union is not is exalted anyway, whether they're married or not. You know, we have to think. You know, like this. What does it mean to take responsibility for devotees? We should try to serve devotees. Taking responsibility means take responsibility for what? Their spiritual advancement or their material needs? No. You should do it to a certain extent, you know, like that. Take care of their needs to a certain extent. What you can do, basically that's it. Mm-hmm. Why Srila Prabhupada gave Mataji's Brahminical initiation? Because they asked for it. That's why. Basically, it was interesting stuff. When Prabhupada gave Brahminical initiation to the First Lady, that was Jadharani, and then he was pushing, who's going to marry her? And Satsrupa agreed, you know, and then it was interesting stuff. And basically, she demanded second initiation. It was interesting. Prabhupada gave second initiation because the ladies wanted it. That was why. In Gaudiya Math, they don't. They give only Gaura Gayatri, up to Gaura Gayatri. They have them worship only Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, that's all. And they don't give the other Gayatris. But Prabhupada gave all the Gayatris. Because they asked for it. And so Prabhupada gave it to them. How to develop strong desire to only serve Krishna purely? Sadhu Vartmano Vartante. Sadhus, we serve the previous acharyas. Sadhu Margano Gamanam. We serve, we follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas. Sadhu Vartmano Vartante. Sadhu Margano Gamanam. The path of the previous devotees. Sadhu Margana Gamanam, the path of the previous sadhus, like that. So, that's basically it. That's how you develop desire to serve Krishna. Basically, it's called abhyasanam. You do it. Somebody asked me about memorizing slokas, and I said, its necessity is the mother of invention. You need it, you get it. You don't need it. You have to prove to Krishna that you need it really bad. They don't give it. Matakshmati kyanam apanam cha. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15, he states that he'll give anything to his devotee. So you have to convince Krishna, and he'll give it to you. It's basically it. So, how to serve, develop desire to serve Krishna purely? So it was interesting. How to get prema bhakti? They asked Srila Vamsidas Babaji, he said, Dake, one Bengali word, call out. It means, you didn't get it, call out more. Basically, we're all beggars, and Krishna likes us to beg, you know. We're finished. Sure. Something else? Yeah?
Alright, how can we control our minds while we're chanting, because the mind is sometimes going there and there, and how can we
chant louder than the mind. We focus on Tulsi Devi, we chant with Tulsi Devi. See, if the mind's business is to accept and reject on the basis of sense gratification. So, if anukul, it's favorable, it means it's from devotee association, and when it's pratikul, it's just mental concoction, throw it away. So you keep a notebook in your pocket, and if it's good, you write it down and deal with it later. And if it's not, then you throw it away. Basically, that's it. It's with the mind. That's with the mind. You do. And chant louder than the mind. Whatever the mind is, chant louder than that. Then it drowns it out. It's interesting stuff. Prabhupada told Visrambha Swami that if you focus on Krishna, then, and chant louder than the mind, then you'll be successful. So you should keep trying and don't give up. That's the idea. Something further?
somebody may say that Srila Prabhupada is my only guru, and I don't need to accept any living guru because I get instructions from Srila Prabhupada by his books and meditation. And what is it like?
But then
What is Shastic proof for accepting living guru?
the example is that Prabhupada said that he becomes a disciple of my disciple just see. So what about that instruction? You know? They have to follow that instruction also. When Hansadutta, when somebody wanted to approach Hansadutta, he goes, they can do so after my departure. After my departure, there'll be some moves to make you a guru. But you should do so after my departure. So that's the idea, not in the presence of the spiritual master. Just like Puri Maharaj, Prabhupada's Godbrother, got really angry at his guru, his disciple who was going to become a guru, became a spiritual master before Puri Maharaj's departure. Puri Maharaj got angry at him. But then I asked Basu Ghosh about it, and he said there are three. There are three acharyas in their mission. There's Keshav Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj, and one more. There are three acharyas in their mission, and they all three agreed to continue on. And so they're giving initiation on behalf of Puri Maharaj. They're continuing on. So one has to consider the instructions of Prabhupada when he was talking about that somebody becomes the guru of disciples after Prabhupada's disappearance. And he said that. So then what about those instructions? So they have to follow those instructions also. So one can give that as advice to some people. Something else?
And also somebody may ask how we define this person's spiritual development of each science. What is the science? How we can see it?
The signs are in Madhya Lila chapter 23, verse number 19, quoted from Bhakti Visrambha to Sindhu about the symptoms of bhava in the heart. And so basically that's it. The symptoms of advanced devotees, bhava in the heart. You know? And prema is further. Bhava is next to it, next to prema. Pretty good. In any case, they're better than us. They help us absorb in Krishna, and when you think of them, all anxieties go away. So this is the spiritual master. So basically one gets a Varma Pradarsha Guru, which is translated as the person who first introduced you to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, but there's something more. It's called Varma Pradarshak, one who shows you the path of your innate talents. Could be 5 years, 10 years later, like that. Then you have your Shiksha Gurus, material or spiritual. You trust them because they're expert in their field. You don't have to like everything about them, but they're expert in their field. Then of your spiritual Shiksha Gurus, you may find two that you just can't find fault with. And Lord Krishna comes in the heart and tells you to take your Diksha mantras from them. The next question is, who's available for you? Of the two, who's available for you? And then Krishna will tell you to take your Diksha mantras from them in the heart. It's interesting. You're taking Diksha from one and Shiksha from many. And in the first verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Krishnadas Kaviraj offers obeisances to all his gurus, then Prabhupada said the Diksha Gurus and Shiksha Gurus are equally worshipable representatives of Lord Krishna. So it's good. You're taking initiation from one, but serving many, as you need. That's the idea. That's how you get it. Something else? Yeah?
Or sometimes when like devotees are in places like Nottingham, for example, work or school, then how can devotees like preach in these places where they go like every day like that's the temple, and how can devotees like avoid the non-devotees consciousness? I don't know, it's a clear question or
Asat Sangha Tyaga E Vaishnava Achar, Sri Sangha Eka Sadhu Krishna Bhakta Ar. Lord Chaitanya said that a devotee should give up non-devotee association. So you're associating with devotees, with non-devotees, but you're not accepting their mood. That's the idea. The mood of a sadhu you accept. The mood of a devotee you accept. But the mood of non-devotees you don't accept. That's all. Because it contaminates one in the mind. And also, it stated, Raghunath Das Goswami was quoting, it's actually Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. A Vaishnavera Anna Grana Dushta Oile Man. To eat grains cooked by non-devotees causes wickedness in the heart. If there's wickedness in the heart, you can't think of Krishna. And if you can't think of Krishna, what is the use of life? You know? So basically, you avoid grains cooked by non-devotees. There was some Sankirtan devotee that I know that was making loaves of bread in advance and taking them on traveling Sankirtan. For a whole week, he was traveling on Sankirtan away from the temple. So he would cook his own bread and offer the bread and take it with him, just to avoid eating grains cooked by non-devotees. It's interesting stuff. So, a Vaishnavara Anna Grana Tushta Hoile Man, specifically rice. What to speak? In North Indians, North people are basically weed eaters, so it's the same thing. Grains. Grains cooked by non-devotees causes the wickedness of material desire to enter into the heart. So one avoids grains specifically. Something else? Yes, Mother?
Maharaj, we go to holy places to refuel our spiritual battery, to get some very good association and go deep into spiritual life. But when there's no opportunity to do that, how can we, like by staying in our country, refuel the battery?
Basically, there's a joke. You haven't seen your sister in 40 years, you can Google and get her on Facebook. You can Google for any damn thing, and 95% of the time, you get the answer. It was interesting. I was doing a stained glass panel of Gauri Tirthavihara Leela, which is in Vidagdha Madhava, chapter 7. And so Krishna disguised himself as the Gauri deity. And Sri Abhimanyu wanted to take Radharani to Mathura, and he asked Purnamasi Devi for a benediction. Purnamasi Devi tried to put him off. Think nothing of it. But he was determined. Then she told Vrindadevi, better tell Krishna, this is serious. So Krishna was cavorting with Shaibi and Padma, two gopi associates of Chandravali, in Gauri Tirthavihara. So he asked Madhumangal, I want a disguise that will capture Radharani's mind. We have to stop Abhimanyu from taking Radharani to Mathura. Then Madhumangal said, I saw Padma Gopi with white cloth in Gauri Tirtha area. And Krishna said, excellent, I'll use that white cloth. So then it mentions that the Gopi, Nikunja Vidya, the sister of Vrindadevi, and Bandirvan, has entered the temple making an earring out of a peacock feather. And so Padma and Shaivi says, we haven't seen her before. And Vrindadevi goes, you don't know my sister, the goddess of Bandirvan? No, we haven't seen her before. Krishna thought, wow, my disguise is pretty good. So that was interesting stuff. So then Jyotila and Radharani and Abhimanyu entered. Radha, look, your devotion is so big for the deity that she's come out of her form to greet you. So then I thought, what does Gauri Devi look like? In order to paint the picture properly, I should know. And then Vrindadevi came there, why don't you Google and get it? And I was shocked I got it. She has a white sari with a gold border and has a mirror, a bell, a mala, and a citron fruit. And I Googled and got the citron fruit so the artist could paint it. And Krishna had exactly the same things in his four hands, exactly as the deity did. So she said, oh goddess, and he goes, tell her, Vrinda. And Vrindadevi said that 2 days from today, Abhimanyu will be grabbed by Kamsa and will cut off his head and offer it to Bhairava. And then Jyotila goes, oh, Radha, this should not happen. You should pray to the goddess. Oh goddess, please be merciful. I can't live without my Swami. Swami means master, Swami means husband. Typical double language, typical Radharani. And Krishna goes, oh, it may be possible. Her sweet pleading has convinced me. It may be possible in certain circumstances. Anything. Goes, she should always come here and worship me. Yes, she'll come here and worship me. You should cancel the plans to go to Mathura. Yeah, we'll cancel the plans to go to Mathura. Then I give my benediction. He goes, Radha, you say to Emmanuel, it's life. And then Krishna said, oh, why cast aspersions on this girl's character? Like this. Come on, we'll cancel the plans to go to Mathura. So Jyotila left the temple. The Abhimanyu left the temple. And then Purnamasi goes, no, seeing you in this disguise, then we've got great bliss. He goes, what can I do for you, Bhagavati? And she goes, always perform pastimes with Radha here in Vrindavan. And anybody who hears this pastime will develop love for your divine couple. And Krishna, tatastu, let it be so. That's the end of the pastime. It's an interesting story. It's Gauri Tirtha Vihara. Basically, it's 1/4 kilometer as the crow flies from Sankarshanananda Sarovara in Govardhan, which is basically Buffalo Ananda Sarovara, because only the buffaloes use it now. The water buffalo. Why? When did it become a water buffalo? Why did it take birth as a cow? Why? But it's, the water buffalo is constantly lamenting. And if you bother the water buffalo, oh man, they run really fast. Once the bus landed in Nandagram in Howell Below to discuss that pastime that happened there. And we started the water buffalo, and they ran like hell. It was interesting stuff. They ran away like anything. So it's interesting stuff. And you try to avoid, it says in Padma Purana that the milk products of a water buffalo cannot be offered to Krishna. But now, that's nothing. You have nothing but that. Practically in Vrindavan, there's nothing like that. Because who reads Sanskrit? It's interesting stuff. Like all the paneer, all the milk is made from water buffalo. Why? And they say in Hindi that if you drink the milk of a water buffalo, you get the brains of a water buffalo. Interesting stuff. At least things are a cow here, Not so bad, Something else? Yeah.
Maharaj, after the Kurukshetra war, there was this club fight between Duryodhana and Bhima. And Bhima gave this big blow under the belt of Duryodhana. And then Balaram got so angry. So why did Balaram got so angry? Because all the way Duryodhana was using all kind of dirty tricks to get Pandavas down. So why Balaram got so angry with Bhima? And Bhima
See, Balaram got angry with Bhima because Bhima broke Kshatriya Dharma. And Krishna had to fall at the feet of Balaram and convince him that Bhimasena was all right because he promised to break that tie. And like this. So Balaram became pacified. It's interesting that Krishna had to fall at the feet of Balaram. Also, when Arjuna stole Subhadra Devi, because I was thinking, oh God, the bosom buddy of your brother, and this fellow doesn't recognize him? It means Subhadra Devi got bogged over Balarama. Interesting stuff. So it happened, 10th canto, chapter 87, Subhadra Hara Leela. It's interesting pastime there. And Krishna had to fall at the feet of Balaram and say, oh, they got permission from Devaki and Vasudeva, and they really liked each other, and like that. So Balarama gave a big dowry and changed. So Krishna had to fall at Balarama's feet a lot. Balaram was really angry sometimes. Sometimes Balaram he broke the teeth of the king of Kalinga on a fight because he was always showing his teeth at Balaram, and Balarama broke his teeth. So don't blow Balarama's mind. He does everything, he does a lot, but don't make him angry. It's interesting stuff. So he got angry at Bhimasena, because when they first came back from Tirtha Yatra, Balaram said, oh, they're evenly matched. He said, see, Bhimasena is stronger, but Duryodhana is more dexterous. So basically, nobody's going to win. And so Balaram was was disturbed by that he couldn't take any sides in the tournament. Like that. Interesting stuff. When you read Mahabharata, you get a lot of interesting details. It's interesting stuff. And actually, there's even more. When you read commentaries, you get a lot more. Just like Radharaman Swami and Radha Govinda Ki Bhavarta Dipika, Shruta Swami's commentary on a hip bag, on a shoulder bag, on their hip, and they read it a lot. So one sloka said, see, Brihaspati made his brother's wife pregnant with his seed. And so basically, what happened? And Brihaspati cursed the child, may you become blind. I go, what had happened? Did the child died or what? Because the mool shlokas, the root shlokas, don't say it. But Bhavarta Dipika does. He said, so the thing is this, that the child kicked out the semen. There's hardly enough room for two of us, and so there's no room for me alone. What to speak of two people? So we kicked the semen of Brihaspati out. Brihaspati says, you become blind. He cursed the child to become blind. So Brihaspati's semen took birth immediately as a child. And the other child was still cooking in the oven. And he took birth blind. Like this. It was described. And the child produced from Brihaspati's semen was maintained by two. Bharadwaj. Maintained by two. The demigods named him as Bharadwaj. Maintained by two. And his ashram is between the confluence between the Ganga and the Saraswati. And the Ganga and the Yamuna in Allahabad, Prayag. It's interesting stuff. And even still, the University of is there. Allahabad University is still there. It's still there. It's interesting stuff about Bharadwaj Muni. It's interesting stuff. Maintained by two. By Mamata and by Brihaspati. You maintain this child, O foolish woman? No, you maintain him, Brihaspati. So the demigods intervened and named the child maintained by two. Interesting stuff. Bharadwaj means maintained by two. Interesting stuff. Anything else? Hey Tapo, I think we've come to the end. We don't have anything more. We think we came to the end. All right, it's time for Parikrama of the deities. Kirtan Parikrama.
So let's